Should be summer number 5. Says, what exactly is love? Let's see. Takes us to YouTube. I probably won't play the whole video, but let's play some of it.
Ancestry. I'm your guide and host, Kwesi Kunadu. Our topic today will be love, or what I refer to as Odo. And in a moment, I'll share with you why I'm using two different words to talk about what you think is the same thing, but in many ways they're not. Love is a big topic. And what did love have to do with ancestry? Well, in many ways, almost everything. You see, this thing called love, it is an idea, a practice, and a feeling. And so I want to distinguish the two for us. You see, love as an idea is a concept like family or togetherness. And as a concept or idea, love is often used, abused, and misused. Pedophiles say they love the individuals they harm. Rapists say they love the individuals they harm. Priests and pastors say they love the boys and girls that they abuse. And so love is an embattled word because it can be used to cover anything that is done from one human to the next. Now, love is a feeling that's less embattled. Almost all of us have experienced at some point in our lives, whether for short term or long term, this feeling of love. It's a feeling that is joyful. You feel light. You feel like you want to smile or even laugh, right? You feel something sort of bubbling inside you. And most of us like that feeling. Now, this feeling is both a chemical reaction, but it's also a non-physical reaction. You see, we human beings, as spirit encapsulated and as spirit having human experience, we are energies, energies that are connected to other energies. You ever wonder why you think about someone, then they call you or text you in that moment? Because your energy is tapped into theirs on the same network, if you will. Think of it as a grid. And on this grid, where we all are networked, we communicate with each other, often without words. And that energy is the currency of that grid. And that grid or network is what connects us together as human beings and allows us to share these moments that are not simply requiring us to be in the same space. Love is the same as a feeling. It's an energy that can move us, that can motivate us, that can make us do certain things. Some say love makes us foolish. Possibly. I would rather say love moves us and perhaps we do foolish things with it. And so love as a feeling is less embattled than love as a concept or idea. But love as a feeling has limitations. You see, what we often think of love as a feeling is really infatuation. It's really a sense of what I like about that person, what I desire about that person, including desiring this very same person. What I want to suggest here in this episode is that love is inadequate to capture the real, genuine, and almost unfakeable, yes, I made that word up, unfakeable connection between human beings. You see, love as a feeling is more so based usually on what you see, what you detect. Those are things that we love. Now you might say, well, how do I know this? Well, I have experiences. I've been married twice and I've loved both women. But here's what I discovered. In one of those relationships, I was loved by the other person, but what she loved was what I could do for her and her family. She didn't love who I was. And I want to make this distinction absolutely clear because this is how I counsel and advise my daughters who are 12 and 14, but they're growing and they will marry and have a family and have children. But before they do any of those things, they have to appreciate and understand the distinction between being loved for who you are, who you really are, than what you can do for someone. Yes, you hear the songs, the R&B songs and the rap songs about what a man can do for me, what a woman can do for me. And these are supposed to be acts of love. But again, those are betrayed versions of love because they're not love at all. When someone says they love you, but the evidence comes from what they get from you, what you can do for them, then it's not love. They're in love with the idea of you, but not the real you. I'll say it again. Just make sure that you heard what I said. When someone shows, because often they won't say it, but if someone demonstrates by being in a relationship with them over months or years that they love you, but they're often unconcerned with things that you're passionate about and care about. That's a warning sign. Let's say you're a musician and the person who loves you doesn't go to your shows, doesn't enjoy your practices. In fact, would rather close the door when you're in the studio or in your creative space. That's a sign they don't love you. They may love what you do for them through your artistry, but they don't love you. Or let's say that you are a professor and the person is not involved in your academic life, doesn't go to your conferences, your workshops, doesn't go to your talks, have never been to your classroom or having a desire for those things. If you are a scholar, doesn't participate in your research trips or your scholarship, then they don't really love you. They love the idea of you. They love the idea and the fact of what you can provide for them. I'm not saying they don't care about you, but they don't love you as for who you really are. And that's why I said the term or the concept of love is too embattled. The idea of love is too embattled. It's too slippery. It's not firm. It's too ethereal.
All right. You guys can follow that channel I just did. The channel is called Powered by Ancestry. Trigger Happy 262 in the chat says follow that channel. That's Kwesi Konadu, the guy who writes about the Akan and the Akan in the diaspora. Very good videos. He also has an important video on African spirituality. So you guys can check it out. I'll definitely be going through the channel myself. But for time's sake, let's get on it. Carl, what say you to what you just saw? What exactly is love?
I think that was a very good video. I'm going to follow this guy. I think love is a verb. Really, love is more of an action than it is an emotion. Because, like he was saying in the video, if you love somebody, you care about the things that they care about. And I think that living in the world we do today, living in a capitalist society, love is commodified. Everything is has a price tag behind it. I can't love you unless you make a certain amount of money. You got to have a certain car, a certain job. Bring in a certain income. So I think that what he was saying was very good, and I think that we have to really look at how we compartmentalize people, how we put people behind paywalls. You can only access certain feelings and affections if you make a certain amount of money. So I think it's a good, very good video. I think that we have to look at love in a more holistic standpoint, not so much as like he was saying, like I like what you do for me, but do you like me as a person? I think that's a very, very good point. I'll leave it there, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Let's hear from Bakari next.
Can y'all hear me? Because I'm having technical difficulties again.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, Bakari, go ahead.
Okay. Because everybody sounds like a robot to me.
All right.
But I don't know. I can't tell nobody what love is to them. I just know he mentioned his two wives and he said he loved them both, but they loved him for different reasons. I can't say that. People will be with you, what you can do for them. But hey, that is something that you have to look out for. But honestly, I really don't. I don't know. I don't know if I just know it's an emotion. It's a feeling, good feeling. I was in love with my wife. So that's all I got on that.
All right, Bakari, I appreciate that. Oni, what say you to this? I'm curious to hear what you're gonna say about those energies tapping into each other and all that stuff. Go ahead.
Wait, what energies? What are you talking about? Anyway, but what I was saying was, yeah, like I said about the woman with the KFC, like she would tell me every freaking day, "I love you, babe. I love you, babe. Can you buy me some KFC?" You know what I'm saying? now, if you're wondering, yes, she did have some crazy nash. So obviously, the KFC came with the territory. But if anybody's wondering, but yeah, it's like. Yeah, some of these women, they would tell you, "Hey, I love you," and I'm like, "Look, you don't even know my scholarship." Like something like, so I wasn't going around bragging, "Hey, everybody, I'm Oni. I'm Oni. I'm the most hated Pan Africanist on the planet." No, I'm joking. I'm not. I don't know. Whoever is the most hated, but regardless, yeah. I mean, yeah. A lot of people do like. A lot of people will fall in love with you pretty quickly if because love is attached to is imaginary. It's an imaginary thing. It's attached to your imagination of the other person. And sometimes what you imagine for the other person is possibly their passion. Like I remember I was in a bar and this woman, no, this guy was like a guitar, like not a guitar, violinist. He was a violinist and he played hip hop music and all that stuff. And it was okay, but his girlfriend was feeling it. Like she was just like his number one fan. She was like a super fan. That type of stuff is like what he like this. That's the kind of love this guy is talking about. Now, is that the only type of love? No, but that's the kind of love this guy's talking about. So I think it's really important for us to, come to terms with the idea that, maybe people have different quote unquote love languages, and quote unquote, maybe that's the kind of desirable love that he finds the best for him, i.e. the woman who loves him for being a con specialist, right? On the other hand, though, there could be a man who feels like, hey, a woman who loves me for my money is actually a good thing, or I guess there was a recent case, since we're ending right now. There was a recent case of this basketball player who was messing with a porn star, and he ended up ended up having a child with a stripper, and she kind of blew up and all that kind of stuff. Now, did she love him? Probably, right? And did he love her? Probably. You get what I'm saying? Now, obviously, he loved her probably in the capacity that he could buy her sexual access. And she obviously loved him for the capacity that he would be her trust fund or something like that. That is reasonable. According to her, she encouraged him in his basketball career. She encouraged him to be better. She was his comfort and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, and maybe I don't know if she was so passionate about basketball. I don't know. But the point is, she was a prostitute, obviously. All I'm saying is that, I do appreciate this sort of angle of, hey, you know what? You like what I'm doing, and that's why you're the best variety of love. And I've heard that from particularly the woman I'm interested in. She's like, I don't know why other women only see you for money. I see the greatness in you. And that's a nice compliment, coming from, somebody who barely gets English or whatever, right? But it's like that is and I mean, that's a comforting thing, to not just love somebody for money. But again, there are some people, like for instance, the basketball guy who's worth $200 million. He probably is like, hey, love me for my money. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a one size fits all, but I do appreciate his description, and that's what I'll say.
All right. Trigger Happy 262 in the chat says, I would still describe that love to be superficial, or a type of love developed by the insistence of Western cultures to attach itself to consumerism and individualism. Buana, you've heard everything that's been said and typed in the chat. What say you to all of it?
Yes, sir. I believe I agree with my brother. When he said that love is an action word. Carl. When Carl said love is an action word, I agree with that. But for me personally, I think that love, all these romantic views of love and things like that. I'm not a Roman. I'm a Bahamian, so I can have different kinds of associations with that particular idea. Because for me, love is an irrational emotion. It's really an irrational emotion. And I say that because when I think in terms of that idea of love, this unfettered, irrational emotion for a person, I think about my nephews or my nieces. I love them without knowing their characters, without knowing their character flaws. I just love them. I just love them. I'm willing to give them anything. I'm willing to die for them. I'm willing to die for them. But when it comes to me in relationships, I don't really move with that word. I move with more. So the sister I date, I respect her. I have admiration for her. I care about her. but I don't move with that word or association with in terms of love. I don't. I don't. And maybe that's the reason why this relationship has lasted longer than other relationships that I associated with this notion of love with when I was in my ignorant days. You know what I mean? Because that emotion comes and goes. It sways with the tide, you know. So I feel like sometimes it's an irrational emotion. You can't really put a finger on it. And I, when it comes to my personal relationships, I rather move on a level of respect, admiration, I care. But when I talking about the irrational or irrational emotions or feelings and things like that, I attach that to my little nephew, my little nephews and things like that, because I really don't know them. I just love them because they exist, just because they exist. So I kind of like separate and categorize these different kinds of emotions. But these things are very difficult to put a handle on when it comes in terms of love, because all we've been taught in the Western world is this romantic notion of love. When it comes to interpersonal relationships, and we see how that goes. So I don't really move with that. My personal relationships with the opposite sex, I move in terms of something different from that. But I give the kudos and successes, all the successes in the world, to the brothers who have managed that word with their opposite, their better half or whatever. But for me personally, I really don't move in that word when it comes to my intimate relationships, because I have found that I could appreciate the aspect of respect, admiration, because there are some qualities that exist with the sister I'm with that I look at and I say I admire that. I admire that about the sister, or respect, and this is the reason why I care to do certain things for her. But this whole notion of love, I think that's a fleeting idea, and come this Roman psychology, I don't have a handle or grasp on. So I don't work with it because it's really an irrational emotion. And if you deal with any black woman in the world, you got to use your head. You know what I mean? So that's where I am with this particular poem. But I'll stop there.
Anyone else want to add any last thoughts here? Being that this is the last poem for tonight. All right. That's it for tonight. I want to thank everyone who was here tonight, everyone who joined the panel, Carl, Brother Bakari, Oni, Buana, Trigger Happy 262 of the chat. I also saw KW Don 7 earlier. I don't know if I shouted them out. I didn't see Jordan Moole and a few others, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys will join us next time. Make sure drop some comments after the episode has posted as well. I usually have some prompts up there for y'all to respond to. Let's shout out some things. Carl, you want to shout anything out tonight?
Nothing really to shout out tonight. So we're doing a shorter show now. Is that what we're a new format? We're just doing 5 topics now.
Yeah. Until my thinking is to incentivize it also to how people start to bring the numbers up, man. Let's bring the numbers of viewers up, and then we could accommodate another hour or another 2 hours, something like that,
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see what I can do. It's been a little hectic, man, but with everything. I mean,
All right.
life is tough, but I'll try. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming through. Let's go to Bakari. Bakari, you want to shout anything out this week?
I will be doing a show tomorrow on Mind Our Black Business, episode 13, which I'm getting back to doing that on every Sunday. So yeah, I will be doing that tomorrow. Carl, I've been shouting you out on my last few shows. I say Carl running, he's scared, he don't want to talk to me no more.
Man, I was on vacation, man. I was in Tennessee. I'm just getting back last week, but I was on vacation.
I'm just kind of. I never called you out. I ain't
Are
never called you out.
Are you in Florida now or no? I thought you said you were gonna be heading down this way.
This week now. She wants to stay another week since she just graduated. She down there with her auntie. So
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we'll communicate offline. I'll see my number. You can try to link.
All right. But that's all I got to shout out, man. Thank you for letting me speak on your panel, Coco. Respect to everybody that was up here, and respect to the chat.
Yes, sir. Thank you as well, Bakari. Oni, you want to shout anything out this week?
Nah, I'm just gonna do my potty. What is it? Tomorrow. We're gonna have the lovable Lero. It's gonna be pretty cool. I was working on the program I'm gonna use tomorrow in order to just generate a conversation. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Me and Matron and I did this before, so I'm just updating the program, so that it's I guess it's on another engine. That's all. Anyway, yeah, thanks for having us. And of course, shout out to everybody on the panel. And all that. All right.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Make sure to check out Oni's show in the morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last but not least, Buana, you want to shout anything out this week?
Yes. I want to inform the long-time listeners. I understand that the long-time listeners love the 6-hour shows, but understand that, people have a short attention span. So Coco is attempting to do something a little bit different to bring up the numbers and listener and viewership, because the attention span for many people is not 6 hours. So just bear with Coco, and he's just trying to do something different to make more people aware of the show, and hopefully the numbers will grow so we could go back to the 6-hour shows. So I just want to let the viewers, the old time viewers, just let them be aware of what's actually happening and why he is attempting to make the times a little bit shorter. So I'll stop there. Respect to the panel, respect to everyone. I appreciate the content with what everyone came to bring tonight. So
appreciate that, Buana. Appreciate all of you. Maybe I might show up during the week sometime. We'll see. If not, you'll see me here next week for the Shoot the Breeze, Saturday Night Shoot the Breeze, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out Bakari's show tomorrow. Check out Oni's show. Subscribe to their channels. House Rally Podcast is going to be on hiatus, I guess, for the next few weeks. So look out for them in the near future. Until next week, I'll see you guys. Drop your topics on the Discord. Join the Discord. Drop your topics for Shoot the Breeze. I'll try to make them interesting 4, 5, 6 topics for next week. And until then, I guess, I'll see you guys. Be good. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.